So guys, great to be back again, and Arsenal get off to a winning start, which is what we all wanted. Fantastic to now feel like we're on a roll. When to press, when not to press, those problems are still there. Let's be honest. But what we've seen, especially from the sidelines, Juan Carlos and Emery, the body language there is just what Arsenal fans want to see. We are sitting on the sidelines, we're frustrated, we want action, we want changes. We are seeing that. We're seeing animated body language on the sidelines, we're seeing action being taken in terms of substitutions, we're seeing coaches rip into the players on the sideline if they're not following their assignments. So, guys, really, this is what we wanted. It's all coming together, and let's just give it some time. Emery at the moment is sticking to his principles. He's not a man that's going to compromise on his beliefs. I think we all know that now. He's set the bar at this level, and it's now time for the players to tell him that they can achieve that status. And if they can't, regardless of your paycheck or how big your name is in world football, it doesn't matter. He doesn't care. If you're not giving him total commitment in performances, then you're going to be riding the bench. And that's what Mourinho does. That's what Pep Guardiola does. Klopp, to an extent, they have a level of expectations as a coach that if you're not doing what's been set out in the game plan, you're gonna ride the bench. You're gonna sit. And as much as I love Wenger, that's the one thing that he didn't really do. He trusted his players too much, and yes, he got success, but at times when he didn't, and the players weren't accountable, that's what frustrated the fans. So some good actions there, guys. This Arsenal team could have folded against West Ham after going 1-0 down, but they didn't. They showed character, they showed drive. We got back into the game, and that's all I can really say. We got the result, and fantastic. But we move on. Cardiff and Newcastle, 2 away games. Now, David and CJ both are saying that they can't wait for Torreira to start against Cardiff. Nor can I, guys. Seriously, it's what we're all waiting for. And in regards to the win as well, Mark T says it's ugly but satisfying, and I think we all agree with that. Kesner also says Emery shouldn't make the mistake that Wenger did: play Lacazette and Aubameyang up front. I totally agree, my brother. Nay says it was so obvious that the manager has a backbone and he does all of his subs early, and that really makes a difference. Nay also says that we're digging deep and this team isn't giving up. So we're seeing some good stuff there. She also goes on to say that the defence is still a bit flat-footed and they need to communicate better. Now, that brings me to my next point. The centre-backs, as I said, I thought they played really well. Mustafi had 5 headed clearances against West Ham. He had 3 passes intercepted. Socrates had 2 blocks, passes intercepted. He was sniffing out danger. Outside of that goal that went in because Bellerin allowed a striker to get on his best foot, we would have had a clean sheet. Here we are talking about our centre-backs, and really they deserved a clean sheet, and that's how that I'm not going to change from that. I think that they showed a lot of improvement. I think that we'll be stable with those until Koscielny comes back in. There's not much movement we can do, to be honest, because Chambers has moved on. Tom, what's up, mate? Tom says that there's some players that can be moved on in the next 12 months. The likes of Ozil, Bellerin, Xhaka, Ramsey and Mustafi. And Tom also asks what everybody's views are about Socrates, so we'll go into that right now. James is saying that he's impressed by Socrates against West Ham. Solid, aggressive, made some intelligent moves, and he seems to understand Emery's attacks better than some of the other guys, and it shows, isn't it? Disciplined player, pretty stout, accomplished in his career. He's making himself available to check, which is where the ball comes out from the back. Nabo says Socrates is decent. He also says he's value for money, and if you want more, spend more. 100% agree. I'm agreeing with Nabil a lot lately, but he's right. You know, if you want a better player, you know, look what Liverpool have done with Van Dijk. He's come in and he's improved that defense. My problem is what happens when he's gone, because there's a lot of young players in that Liverpool defense. So what happens when they start to get injuries and suspensions? We will see. Joseph actually thinks that Socrates is poor. Brian says he's improving. Damon says he thinks it's too early, but he's performing better than Mustafi. That's a definite. And the block shot says a lot about what's going on, because you can sense danger. The striker's getting it on his best foot. He's unleashing a potential goal or save from Czech. And the defender's taken that out of the equation by laying his body on the line. And we've seen him do that in the 3 games this season. It's very consistent and what you need to be a good defender. Valen says, I haven't seen him at fault for any of the goals. And there you go. But that's 101 right there. That if you're not hearing that much from a player, it means he's doing his job, especially defensively. So I think overall the consensus is from Arsenal fans is that he's settling in nicely. He's solid, if not spectacular, but the numbers show, the stats show that he's making tackles, he's winning balls, and he's putting himself in a position to actually do well. So yes, I think that we've got positive all-round responses there from Socrates. Cardiff and Newcastle, both away from home, our next 2 games. Man, if we win those, we're going to be in a good spot. Remember, guys, this team has a really bad record away from home. In 19 games last season, we won 4, drawed 4, and lost 11. And in those 11 losses, we just looked bad. We didn't even look close to winning. And a lot of that came in the latter part of the season. So if you think about 2018 at the end of April, we were the only team in the Premiership that hadn't won away from home. The only team. And not just that, but we had the worst record in terms of coming back from deficits. These 2 games really give us an indication. Forget the first 3 games we played. These 2 games will give us a good indication of how different this team is under Unai Emery than what we've seen previously before. So yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. But for us, I think the team as a whole has got a lot of balance. We can literally field so many different setups with the players that we have. Not so much in defence, but moving up the field in the midfield and in the 3 behind the striker, and essentially striker. We could play 2 or 3 different type of strikers. So for us, it will take the right balance in finding out what works. Ramsey as the lone second wave, we saw that in West Ham. He wasn't much as a box-to-box player against West Ham. What he was that lone presser that was job was to really set the defensive tone in terms of the pressing. He was a second wave guy and advanced in his midfield position. So for him being there, plus Zach and Torreira sitting back while still keeping the line tight, is when we looked our best against West Ham in the second half. So the 4-2-3-1 formation, it's kind of got a spring quality. It's there, guys, if you don't understand. It's there to absorb pressure without breaking. And then you can kind of rush back into attack as quickly as possible with those front 3 players behind the attackers. It's surprisingly strong in that respect. But it allows the defence to cover space effectively in terms of playing the ball out from the back. So I think the one of the dangers from last week was being too high up the field, playing with that high line. And in the second line, we were a lot deeper. So again, that was a half-time decision from Emery to settle the guys back. Don't rush forward and get beat on deep balls, because that's what Chelsea, City and West Ham in the first half were doing. They were beating us with deep balls. So for him sitting the 2 holding midfielders back, that really helped a lot. And it compensated for the wing backs going out wide as well. With the pressing though, guys, it's there because the system we're playing, it's there to recognize how much pressure we can put on the ball. I think that we're still trying to figure that out. So when one or two guys are going, the third guy's not going. We've seen that with Mkhitaryan a few times. Realistically, we want to press the ball when it's traveling. So as soon as the ball's moved on, as soon as the defender plays a ball, you're pressing to where you're closing that gap. So if the attacker's here and the ball's coming into him, you're coming into him at the same time. So he's either got to rush into making a bad decision or you're going to win the ball. Either way, it's basically press the nearest man to the ball and try and read a player that's in possession and predict where the ball's going as well. That's one thing that Ozil's quite good at that he doesn't really get credit for. He's able to play the gaps and get in front of the passing lanes to force the ball going backwards. So, yeah, a lot of good things to come, guys. And, man, these two games are going to tell us a lot about the team. If we do win them, that is 3 wins on the bounce. If we do win these 2 next games, that's 2 games away from home that we would have won. So let's just see where we go with this, guys. Arsenal will also be playing Brentford in the Carabao Cup, and that will be a home game, so that will be good for the fans and those non-season ticket holders. And obviously the UEFA Cup has just had its draw, and it's kind of a nothing draw for me. It doesn't really matter who we end up with. We should walk it. Last season we walked it with Giroud and Walcott up front, and paved the way into the latter stages where we didn't even need the first team. So the UEFA Cup is not really an issue for me. Let's just kind of focus on the league. For me, I don't really care about the Europa. Right now, I care about let's get ourselves back into contention in the league and taking it from there. So guys, appreciate the feedback. Like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. We got 31 subscribers in a week, so that's not bad, considering this is something that's new. And yeah, what it is, guys. Talk to you after the Cardiff game. Peace. Take care.